Hey my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel today. I have something a little bit different for you. It's not my normal single page layout, but it is not a true double page layout either. What I've got here is this series of photos. I'm just trying to work out my camera angle because I've changed it again, of my youngest. I got these sparkly shoes a few months ago and he wanted to try them on and he put on a little bit of a show for me. It was hilariously funny. Can you see that? Yes. It was hilariously funny and I snapped a bunch of photos. This one is my absolute favourite. So I'm going to put that by itself on a 12 by 12. Now, if you follow me, you know that I don't really scrap a lot of photos normally at the same time, but to get the true feeling of this, I wanted to include all of them. So I'm going to use this photo on this pattern paper for my first, which is what I'm going to be working on today. And this is going to be on the right hand side of the album. And I've got this as the facing page with the 4 of my photos of him because he's so hilariously funny. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, that I am going to do a grid. Not sure where I'm going to go. The brilliant thing about the paper pad is that you get 2 of every design. So I'll be able to put some of this pattern on this page, some of this pattern on this page. I've pulled out some alphabet stickers. These are all from my stash. If there are any still available in the store, I will link them up. But I figured that whatever I used on this page, I could bring over to the other page. I've got my Vicki Boutin ephemera to go with the paper pad papers. I've got the chipboard thickers. I've got the other thickers. So I'll be able to use enough of the same stuff, and it's all the same kind of colour tones and stuff that it will work well together as 2 single pages that are companion pages. So that is enough of me talking. I am going to pop you on fast forward. I'm going to create this page and I'll be back again tomorrow with this one. Alright, so I am back. First up, I'm going to trim off my branding strip. Well, it's not really, well, it is a branding strip, but it's from the paper pad, so it's got a hole in the middle. The reason that I chose to put this photo on the right hand side page is because of the way that his body's leaning, but he's looking down and to the left, and so I didn't want him looking off the page. On the other page, he is doing a bit of looking off the page, but I knew that as soon as I made that decision, one of the pages would have him looking off the page, so I went with the main photo that was gonna work better for me. Does that make sense? So that's why I chose to put this one on the right hand side. Now I'm backing my photo with some white cardstock because that background paper is so bright and colourful and busy. I wanted to make sure that my photo would pop. My white card, I'm just using offcuts here from cut files and things like that, and it didn't quite go all the way around, so I've just doctored a little piece together. You can't even tell on the finished page. So that's my first layer. I'm going to bring in a couple more layers of pattern, and I'm going to be really aware of what I'm using on this page so that I have some for the other page as well. So I know that I'm using that blue pattern, and I know that I've got this sheet left, and I've also got a whole nother sheet of this one, I think, and then this black say cheese pattern. So I've got that in a couple of places. I've got that obviously in the paper, I've got it in a branding strip, and I've got it in one of the cut aparts that I end up trying. I really like this craft coloured camera print as well, and I tried to get that onto the page. You can see that I very quickly changed my mind. I don't love it. By the time I finish this page, I may have loved it with all the other things that I add, but I gave up on that pretty much straight away. Going through my paper pad because I know that I want to use lots of layers of paper. Pulled out the cut apart sheet, and I was having a blonde moment, so I pulled out this leaf pattern paper as well. So you can see I've cut out a couple of those cut aparts. I'm just trimming my photo mats here, getting that all laid up. I've cut out this piece. I don't have the layout in front of me, so I can't remember what it says, but I really like the sentiment. I love something or other. And then this, I really like this sentiment as well. I can't even remember what they say, but they were perfect for these. Something about I escape the ordinary, that's what that one says. And I liked that it gave a different shape than all the square lines. I cut out that camera from that 3x4 card, but I don't end up using that at all actually. So far I've got my layers behind my photo. You can see I've brought in that lime green circle pattern as well. That's the other sheet from the paper pad. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm using that for my background for my other page. And as I was playing with patterns, I was like, hang on a second, why am I using this green when I've got that green that's going to be on the other page? So I'm just sticking all these layers together to make it easy for me to move things around and work out where I want them on the page. Love you beyond words, that's what that blue strip says. I'm going to add some of my cardboard behind here so that it's the same level as my photo. And I very quickly decide that I need to add something between the photo box and my background paper. So I'm going to go in with a big piece of this green. I've just laid my photo cluster with that little banner piece on there and marked with pencil the top and the left hand side where I need to cut it, and it fits perfectly. I'm really happy with that, and I really like where this is going. I'm looking at it going, it's very boxy, and I pointed out there that okay, maybe I need something behind there. I definitely do need something behind there, but I don't go with this. I do pull out this rainbow stripe. So I know I've got a couple of these rainbow stripes. I use them on, I cut these edges off my last page and I was like, they're rainbow, I can't get rid of them. So I've hung on to those and I'm going to use one on this page, knowing that I've got a second one for my other page if I want to use it. Happy with the way these layers are looking. I know I need to add more, but I want to make sure that I've got enough room for my title. Use two different thickers there in the black. And I'm like, okay, I need to add something else. So this is the Colour Kaleidoscope Labels Ephemera. I'm making two piles. The left hand side is the things that I think I'll use, and the right hand side is the I'm not going to use for this layout pile. So I started with that black frame and immediately went, no, that's not going to work. What you can see is I'm just adding layers. Oh no, I'm like, everything's moving. This is driving me crazy. So I start sticking my layers, and this is working much better for me. I have sped this up a little bit for you because it's not the most exciting thing in the world to watch, but I'm just adding layers so they look pleasing to my eye. Adding colour, adding different textures, adding not all square corners. I always struggle with how to use the label. That's not a label, that is a frame. But I managed to get a couple in here. So you can see I'm just, I want to add some extra dimension. So I'm just roughing up all the edges, all my patterns here. And I'm building my cluster so that I can move the whole lot as one big piece. I'm just adding adhesive and then sticking it behind where it looks good. I'm not putting too much thought or effort into this. Cutting that in half. And just adding some texture. Again, adding this frame and just tucking that into the layers. I did have a bluey tealy coloured label there and decided to swap it for this one. Because I've got that same colour behind, I wanted something different. I'm going to pop this label up, and I've just written the date on that. So I'm really happy with how all those layers are looking. I'm going to add some different, so it's all paper layers at the moment. I wanted to add some different textures. So I started with the chipboard. I've got that rainbow captured piece. It's a little tab. I wanted to add a little bit more weight down the bottom here. I've got those couple of craft coloured tags up the top. So I bring in this banner piece down the bottom and just layer that up. Going back to the, oh no. So I really loved this sentiment, colour outside the lines. It just hurt me a little bit that it is not Australian spelling, but I really liked the sentiment and it just worked perfectly. So I was like, yes, I've got to include it. Now I fishtailed that cut apart piece and I'm going to cover it up because why not? I like how that kind of finishes that little box off. I'm happy with that. I'm going to add my journaling. I do try with a white pen. You can see I finished that off with a black pen. It just doesn't work. You missed me trying a few different pieces that didn't work. I just cut that out because it wasn't interesting. I bring in some more black to the bottom with that Smile for the Camera chipboard piece. I've got a little bird that I'm going to add in here. He's so cute. Just going to tuck him into my layers. I'm like, oh yeah, you can go there, you're cute. And now I'm going to stick this whole piece down. Decide that I want to give that end a little bit of a different finish, and I'm going to go through and add some foam squares around my page just so that things don't get flattened too much in my album. I wanted to add something that was not square or with straight lines, so I went into my Vicki Boutin Field Notes ephemera pack and pulled out these two moths, and I've just used adhesive on their bodies to stick them down so that I can bend up their wings. Wanted to bring in more texture, so I'm using these colourful thickers, and I use 3 up there and I think 1 down the bottom. Again, this is something that I know that I can carry over to the other page. I'm really happy with how this is looking. Kind of feel like things are getting a little bit lost, kind of, and I'm like, what can I do here? What can I add? And so I grab my pen and I'm going to outline a couple of these pattern papers. I only do this green and the rainbow pattern, and I really like how that just defines those edges a bit more and brings a bit more black around the page. I've added some black and white twine to my 2 tags at the top, and again, for something less square, I'm adding just a piece of this twine down the bottom, and I'm just looping it around itself and sticking it down, and I like how that just gives a little bit of flow and a looser line where everything else is more square. I'm going to add some black splatters. I'm just using my black gesso, which I have watered down, splattering all around the page. And off camera, I actually go back in and I add in some of the white chipboard phrases from the thickers pack. So there's a couple up the top right hand side and a couple down the bottom left hand side, and that is my page. I have created the second page. I had the video and stuff to work on, but make sure you come back tomorrow so that you can check it out. There is a shot right at the end of tomorrow's video that shows both of them together. But I hope you've enjoyed this page, and I will be back again, like I said, tomorrow with the next one. Thanks for stopping by.